What is up, guys? Welcome to another edition of This Week in Wrestling by the Straight Edge Wrestling podcast. If you're new here, please like and subscribe down below. Head on over and follow us on Twitter at SEW_podcast. This has been a news-heavy week again, finally. And the shows have improved slightly on last week, because last week was a bit of a downer.
I think they all did pretty well. I was interested in all of them.
See, I wasn't interested in pretty much anything that happened on Raw. SmackDown I thought was really good. AEW I thought was good. NXT I thought had good moments.
NXT I think went pretty well because it was still story going through the whole thing, sort of thing. So I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a better week than last week, where nothing happened on any show whatsoever. But I think the biggest news obviously broke before SmackDown this week, that Zelina Vega has been released by WWE, which is a shame. She's very, 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 very talented.
Yes.
And it is a hell of a missed opportunity with her, basically.
Yeah. I love the fact, let's be honest, she's probably the best, more modern day manager around right now as well.
Yeah, we've both sung her praises since she first started with Angel Garza and Andrade, and then they brought in Austin Theory. That group was great. It should have been something.
I want to know what's going on with Austin Theory. Where they going with this part of the story? It's been 2 weeks now.
Yeah. But yeah, so she went because essentially she's got a big following on Twitch, like so many people do, and they were told to scrap it, and she said no, so she's on the out. They went back down.
Look, fair enough. Might as well stand up for yourself.
Yeah, and that's what she said. She said, that she's happy about the idea that she stood up for what she believed in on her way out. And look, there's going to be a million companies that are going to want her. Impact will want her to go back there. AEW, I'm sure, would love to pick her up. Ring of Honor, I'm sure they'll all have
a fucking mistake for her to go to fucking AEW right now.
Yeah, with the women's division being in,
because they've got too many women they're not doing anything with. If I was there, I'd be going to Impact because they're doing stuff for the women there.
Unless you're the NWA Women's Champion, apparently, because then you can get all the airtime in AEW that you like, just not the AEW Women's Champion, really. No, I agree, but it's a damn shame. And it's a damn missed opportunity. Again, a damn missed opportunity. That's sort of the MO of WWE. This is all stemming from, we now kind of know pretty much, this is all stemming from Vince fired his two vice presidents right at the beginning of the year. And he replaced one of them with a man called Nick Khan, who is from a company called CAA, a talent company. And essentially, Nick Khan is now trying to build within WWE a talent agency within WWE. He's trying to make WWE a talent agency as well. So it rents out the services of its superstars to other parties, to Twitch, to TV and film and all this. So where before the wrestler went and just done other projects,
but I thought they were an independent wrestler.
Exactly, they're an independent.
He's trying to turn their independent wrestlers into hookers.
Essentially, yeah. Essentially, he's trying to pimp them out. But they are independent contractors, and it's going to take someone standing up to this. But as we know, Xavier Woods, AJ Styles flew over to Vince and acceded to his demands. So who's going to stand up to unless
I thought AJ Styles just deleted his account as soon as it kicked in there.
Yeah, but they flew over there this week to speak to Vince about it, and Vince basically clearly told him to do one. So AJ deleted his account, so many others did, and they're some of the biggest stars. I mean, look, there's a few people who, if they get offered film roles, like Roman Reigns, and if Roman says, well, I'm going to do this, and WWE can bite me if they think they're getting a cut, I'm going to assume that, WWE is not going to argue that. But
I don't know, it's Vince these days, you do what the fuck.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They think that the brand, and it is, to an extent, the brand means more than the individual talent. But they've set it up like that, right? Now they've set it up that the brand is what sells and not the talent, which is so backwards.
Oh yeah.
Like I would pay to see Austin, The Rock, Undertaker, Hogan, with all due respect to, like, you know, the Miz and John Morrison or whatever, like, I like those guys. I'm not paying to see them, you know. Just because I'm paying to see a WWE show, I'm not paying to go and see the undercard. You're really going there for your John Cena's, your Roman, your Hogan, your Austin,
I
you
don't
know.
know. I quite like the Miz and John
I know,
Morrison.
that's what I said, I like them, but
I'm happy to
you
go watch them.
but I'm not paying, you know, £120 a ticket to go and see them. But that's the sort of the way WWE's trying to build
Well, every
itself.
time you spent money for a ticket, you hope to see the Undertaker, and it never happens, does it?
No, no. But yeah, I don't know. This is going to be the start of something big, mainly for two reasons now. So the head of SAG, which the Screen Actors Guild, the biggest union for independent entertainment stars in the world, tweeted out about it to say, the president of SAG tweeted out about it basically to say, hey,
Yeah.
Zelina, how about you get in contact with us? Because that's a serious union issue right there. That you can fire people because they're doing outside work when they aren't your damn employees. That's a big deal. And also Andrew Yang, who is being tapped to be Joe Biden's Secretary of Business or Labor, one of the two, Secretary of Labor. And Andrew Yang tweeted out just moments after Zelina Vega was let go, saying, "At Vince McMahon, I haven't forgotten about you," which is just incredible, just incredible. You know,
Well, it ain't going well from over here, though, really, is it? As well now.
no, exactly. They're being it's being looked at here, the independent contractor thing as well, here in the UK.
The worst
And
thing that happened over here was through was the lockdown to happen, really, weren't it? For the scams, for everything to come out like it did.
yeah, because then people could actually focus on that on the industry. Yeah, and Andrew Yang's been very vocal. He went on Chris Jericho's podcast, as everyone does that's got an issue with wrestling, apparently. He went on.
Is that for Chris to try and shut him down? Or?
Well, Chris Jericho did try and argue it, and Andrew Yang wasn't having it because Yang was like, "Well, I know labor law, and you know, he's a billionaire businessman, Andrew Yang, and he's a very smart politician, and probably going to be Joe Biden's Secretary of Labor." So I'm very interested as to how that one goes for Vince. But in other news, AEW announced 3 video games. I said last week 2. No one had sort of heard about the third.
Yeah, ain't 2 of them mobile games there.
Yes, 2 of them mobile games. So we have the
Don't tell me one of them's going to be a card game.
Yes, well, essentially it is, right? I think, or casino game, a gambling game.
Really?
So yeah, so you've got the AEW video game, which is going to be a traditional video game going on Xbox and PlayStation, which they showed a very, very early preliminary clip for, which was Kenny Omega and Shida, right? Which I found was a weird combination, but okay. I don't know why people are reading too much into it right now. It's not going to come out for another year, you know, but it is what it is. And then we have AEW General Manager, Elite General Manager. So a mobile game, which is GM mode, essentially, for AEW, where you can...
AEW doesn't have a general manager.
No. Well, Mr. Tony Khan, I assume you're playing as Tony Khan, right?
Well, then I don't want it. He's useless.
Yeah. I assume that's sort of the idea. So that mobile game, we don't really know much about that either. That's supposedly coming out early next year.
Why the fuck would you turn that into a mobile game when everyone wants it on a console?
Yeah, I really don't know. I assumed it was either going to be console or PC. Like PC, sort of like TW, just sort of a better engine and built better. Or yeah, a console game, just like the old Raw GM mode, you know.
I still don't fully get how AEW can do a GM mode when they don't have GM and they have one show.
Yeah, well, I think it is literally just you book the matches, you watch your budget, you deal with disgruntled wrestlers who want to, which is probably quite like AEW, who want their push or want more time and want this and want that. So it's basically just you do the average running of Dynamite and Dark maybe as well. You know, I suppose you can do that, but like it's not going to be like the old Raw v SmackDown GM modes. But
just seems a bit pointless.
And it's a mobile game, and I mean, I know mobile games are very popular. I don't play them personally. It's not really my thing. I played WWE Supercard for a bit, and I played like Pokemon Go here and there. But like mobile games, I don't really. I don't know. It's not really ever been my thing. I'm sure it'll be popular for a certain section of people. And then we have AEW Casino. I think it's called. Well, it's called the AEW Casino game. I think in development at the moment, like Double or Nothing Casino game. Don't really know much about it. It's supposedly coming out within the next few weeks. But it is a casino game. So whatever the hell you want to read into that. So if it means I can play blackjack as Kenny Omega, I don't really know. I don't get it, but we'll figure that one out. Look, I'm excited for an AEW video game, like a proper video game, not the mobile games, just because we've not really had much luck with WWE video games in recent years. They've not been very.
The last 2 years didn't go well.
No, especially not this year. You know, and sorry, especially not last year, I should say, 2K20.
I can't say about this year's one. I refuse to play it.
Yeah, I've not played it, and I honestly don't know anyone else that has. I won't lie.
I've seen a few people that have, and one of the YouTubers.
Yeah, but I mean, like personally,
I liked it, but I'm not a great lover of the proper arcadey facts of it. So.
Yeah, that's not my style either. Yeah, but like normally I know some. I mean, I know a lot of wrestling fans, and normally I know people who buy the games. I genuinely don't know a single person who's bought this year's game, which is quite bizarre. I mean, like 2K20 was bad enough in that I knew so many people who didn't buy it. Like obviously both of us did, but I know so many people that didn't because they heard the reviews and were like, I'll give this year a miss, and we're going to wait for 2K21.
And then wait a while for that one, ain't it?
Yeah, going wait a while for that one. Yeah, but it'll be good for hopefully a decent wrestling game made by Ukes. So they used to make WWE games back in the day.
Yeah, they did all the SmackDown ones, didn't they?
Yeah, they were good games. So we'll see how that turns out. Other than that, the shows. What do you think about Raw then?
Wasn't bad. It was all right. Starts off with a bit of a pop, don't it?
Yeah.
Same small group of people each week. It's starting the shows off.
Yeah, it's the same. They always use the same sort of. It's always like Randy Orton, Drew, New Day, Miz Morrison thing.
Originally, apparently, it was supposed to have been Drew on the Bliss Moment of Bliss,
right?
But for some reason, they suddenly changed it at the last minute into having Morrison and the Miz. I'm not going to complain.
Again, like the main crux of the shows, both shows really, is obviously the push towards Survivor Series.
Is it though?
Well, in theory, it is. We know all of Team Raw now, don't we? After this week, after Riddle won, I think that completes Team Raw, right? Yeah. So we now know
all females as well.
Yeah.
I think the SmackDown females one, they're still after 2 people.
Yeah.
And I can't remember this week if they actually put any more people in the men's team.
I don't think they did either. I can't remember, to be honest. I don't think.
I'm pretty sure this
women's.
This SmackDown was more already to build around hyping up Monday Night Raw title match.
Yeah. There was nothing on SmackDown beyond. You had the women's Survivor Series qualifier match, but no men's qualifier match on SmackDown.
So,
but yeah, I mean, it's really they're just trying to gear it towards a Survivor Series build. But other than that, I just don't really see anything on the shows. It's really just me. I just don't see anything.
The only thing that as I said to you before we started filming, is there's only one match that's got any build to it where both wrestlers are talking either show and So I'm looking forward to it. And it's not normally the ones that I'll be looking for, which is Bobby Lashley versus Sammy, because there's a build to it.
Yeah. And obviously now we've
talked about it on Raw, and Sammy comes out and bitches and moans about everyone.
Yeah. And obviously now we're going to have the Roman and Drew back and forth. So yeah, it is. It's going to be those two. But it's going to be the same.
This is that moment. I don't know why it's Drew. This is that moment. Drew's not in that match.
Yeah, well, it's clearly I have no idea. Honestly, it's like it doesn't make any sense unless it's going to be Drew v Roman v Randy, for whatever fucking reason.
What's the point in that?
Or actually, what's probably more likely, they team up Drew and Randy, like they like to do that when they team up enemies to take on Jay and Roman. You know,
Well, they can't put Jay in it. Jay's already in the Survivor Series match.
they could put them in two, couldn't they? They could make them do whatever the hell they want. But like, because at the moment I can't really make sense of. This is what I said to you last week. I can't make sense of what the hell they're doing with the Randy, Roman, Drew thing at all, because it doesn't make any sense.
The only thing I can make out for Drew being there this week is for Roman to show up on Raw on Monday and just cost him the championship.
Yeah, but then it's like, but then how do they get to Randy versus Roman after that? If normally it's champion v champion.
Punches Randy one in the face. It doesn't matter how you get there. Those two are facing each other because they're the champions.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's like, I don't get it. This is the point. Like, this is why Survivor Series is normally like my least favorite night, just because.
Well, no, you want to know why I normally like Survivor Series? Because what they tend to do, and this is what they've done in all these other years, you'll have a SmackDown versus Survivor Series match. You may have men and women. And after that, you will have at least, it works out normally you could have about 3 of these triple threat match, because normally you have the one where the SmackDown versus Raw thing happens. And then normally you have either a female's one or a men's or whatever in recent years. But they're stuck on individual shows where there's a bunch of people having rivalries that team together and form together and fucking take on the Rock. So at least you've still got builds on happening on each show.
Yeah, see, the thing is, like, the thing I don't like about Survivor Series, and I've never liked about it, is this idea of brand supremacy. Oh, we're just fighting for brand supremacy. It's so bollocks. It just means
originally thought it wasn't what it was always about having like teams with big story and then doing the elimination.
Yeah. But I mean, like in the last 7 years, 8 years, it's always basically been about brand supremacy, other than that 1 year where it was about the Authority, you know, and it was like where Sting came down. Other than that, it's just always been like, oh, Raw's better than SmackDown. And then normally what happens is the last week before Survivor Series on Raw, the SmackDown guys will invade. And then on SmackDown, the Raw guys will invade. And that's
last year, NXT invaded every fucking week on all shows. So
yeah, although that was because they were all stuck in Saudi, weren't it? That was the only reason that even started. That was the only reason that
storyline, didn't it?
Yeah, that's the only reason that one turned out very.
Yeah, didn't NXT win it?
Yeah, but didn't they like cock it up as well inside? They beat like Keith Lee within like 12 seconds or something in the match and all that shit, which sort of, you know, sums up him now on Raw. But talking to Keith Lee, we had Riddle and Keith Lee versus Sheamus and Braun. I liked the match, but I just don't get it again. Also, I really dislike. I didn't think I cared that much when they announced that Matt Riddle was now Riddle, until they start announcing it as Riddle, and then it just sounds really stupid.
Well, I've never cared for Riddle anyway, so.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. See, I like Matt Riddle, but like, this just makes no sense. There's your winner, Riddle. It just sounds stupid. I don't know. This, and then you had Asuka and Nia Jax and the Team Raw thing, and
that thing was a bit sort of pointless. But I liked the little bit where it came to do with Lana, where they put her through a table and they got ready to explain about just But this time there was more reference to it about just quit sort of thing, and it seems like there could be a bit more now. Think to do something with Lana or what she may do next.
Yeah, everyone's sort of speculating now that they're going to have Lana as the sole survivor. They said that, like, you know, they're building it that Lana's going to be the sole survivor because she just keeps on getting laid out, and that is an MO that WWE does. Is the person who gets laid out every week ends up being the sole survivor?
I hope not. She's not that good.
No. Ali versus Ricochet, that was a really good match, as you'd expect. Bloody Ali's finisher, God, I can't think what his finisher was, but it was a submission finisher. And I can't think what they called it, but god damn it, it was like one of the coolest finishers I've seen in years. It really was. But other than that, you know,
there is one match that I'm really looking forward to next week because I kind of hope they win it, which is the Hurt Business taking on the tag team titles. Yeah. I think it'll be quite interesting to see where they go with most of the title belts.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I moaned quite a lot a few months ago about the fact that they were just doing Hurt Business tag team title matches constantly, but now they've actually made them interesting, and I actually would like to see them as tag champs again for a change, because they're actually, I don't know. It's
I
it's
don't
like the
remember
New Day
seeing
thing.
that business go for the tag team titles before.
No, I mean, like, they were always in, like, the IC title picture, like, rematch,
Well, you mean the US title, yeah, because the IC title has been on SmackDown. You got
US,
to get your facts right.
you know what I mean, against Apollo, just constant repetition.
Yeah, but through that period, that's what they decided they were going to keep on doing. They
Yeah,
did
but
that with everyone.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, like, now they're actually doing something with the Hurt Business. They're not quite so boring. They're reminding me of New Day. Do you remember when they debuted the New Day and it was just awful? They just shit the bed completely, and then they completely revitalized them, or they revitalized themselves and actually became an interesting babyface tag team. And that's kind of what Hurt Business is edging towards.
What? Selling pancakes.
Selling pancake, yeah, throwing something at the virtual fan boards. NXT, obviously,
But that started with an interesting bang, didn't it?
yeah. So obviously, the curse of Johnny Gargano in the North American Championship remains. Leon Ruff is the new North American Championship champion.
I'm kind of working out where they're going with this right now, and if Priest got his car back.
Yeah, I just gave him the keys to go. Yeah, I don't really. I'd say this. I didn't see it coming, like, at all. Not even one bit.
He really was expecting. But I like the way you could definitely tell how he picked him on the board.
Yes.
He was not supposed to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know where they're gonna go with it, other than to say that I can't see Leon Ruff being champion for long, right? Just, and no offense to Leon Ruff, but he's not really the champ. Champ sort of. He's not your face.
He's going to be champion now for like.
Yeah. Prove me wrong. He's going to be champion for like 465 days or something. But yeah, other than that, there was some good matches. Obviously, Tony Storm, Candice LeRae was very good. Very, very, very good, actually.
Well, I mean, the Cruiserweight Championship match was a really good match.
Yeah.
So,
I still would like to know, because they were calling him the interim Cruiserweight champion because Jordan Devlin was Cruiserweight champion, but obviously was stuck in Britain. And then they just stopped calling him the interim.
Yeah, but wasn't that also Jordan Devlin was involved with some of this stuff over here as well?
I think he was accused of something right at the beginning, and I think that was. I don't want to be quoting this because I really don't. I'm not completely sure, but I'm pretty sure he was absolved of everything. And then after that, WWE just decided, we're done with that. But yeah, it was really weird. That I've been waiting, especially since Pete Dunne came back. I was thinking, I wonder if Jordan Devlin's going to like poke his head back in and be like, "Hey, that's still my title, bitch."
Yeah.
No.
I thought they let him go in the end.
No, I don't think they did actually. I think he's still.
He was one of the few that they let go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still signed to them, but I'm going to double check. I tell you what I did like. I loved what's his name? God, I can never remember his name. The Drake Maverick. There we go. Drake Maverick and laying out Pat McAfee and stuff. I thought that was good.
He got his ass whipped afterwards. So.
I mean, yeah.
Pete Dunne seems to be the hitman right now for this group.
Yeah, which is kind of an odd role for him, but I like it. He's quite good at it.
It's quite amusing that you got like four. Then they're not the tallest guys, and which is what he started the whole feud about with Adam Cole, who's, no offense, is taller than these lot.
Jordan Devlin is still signed to him. Yeah, I tell you what though, I didn't, when Pat McAfee and all them like came back to the company, or when Pat McAfee came back to the company and they started listening, I didn't expect it to turn into a Drake Maverick feud. I thought it was going to be,
I think they're just trying to fill time right now because War Games is coming soon, ain't it?
Yeah, they're. So I thought they were going to go straight into like some kind of Undisputed Era thing.
Well, kind of like the moment where they're sort of holding up in a minute, and you're just going to have Undisputed Era show up and smash the shit out of all of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're actually taking their time to tell a story and build them, which is, novel.
So,
yeah, no, I like it. I think NXT was fun. I think there was this week was a lot more match heavy than what they have been.
Because they managed. I was starting to wonder at the beginning part where they had the match, and the next thing you know, then all of a sudden you had the Exile.
Yes, yeah,
Then she refused. She didn't want to come out and wrestle for some weird
yeah,
reason.
yeah. So no, normally with NXT, well, recently we've had you start off with the match, and then they normally break it up quite well, like match segment, match segment, match. I think this week was much more like match, interview, match, interview, match. You know what I mean? Like
they started off a lot more match heavy, and then sort of went into their normal rhythm.
Yeah. I think
definitely more match than story.
yeah, especially in comparison to the last few weeks. Dynamite.
It was interesting, definitely improvement from last week.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I didn't quite understand starting off with Matt Sydal and Brian Cage. I'll say that, but it was a good match. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a good match. I just found it really odd that they'd started off with them.
It seemed the big chunk of the show is based around those like Ricky, Cage, Taz, and Darby Allin, and I think that's what the show mostly seemed based about.
Yeah, which is like, I'm not moaning at that at all. I think it's good that they're actually deciding to build someone that's not in like the elite or whatever. But yeah, it took me by surprise. I really like Ricky Starks, by the way. I've really, in the last couple of weeks, I've grown to really quite like Ricky Starks. And I found out this week that he's like, his mentor is The Undertaker. They go to the gym together, and he lives near Taker, and Taker's the one that's basically trained him for his entire career, which is kind of neat, which is bizarre.
Throwing his face and go to AEW.
Yeah, but it's really bizarre because they couldn't be more dissimilar, you know. Because
they've always said about Mark Calloway, he plays the character. Let's be honest, he could do most of the stuff. He was flying around the ring. He was doing stuff beforehand.
Yeah, no, which I think is incredible. Like, and this is why I'm going off obviously in a tangent here, but Taker gave a
to have Undertaker and the thing. I know you would.
Yeah, I know. Taker gave an interview this week where they were asking him about what he wants to do now, and he said, "I want to be a coach. That's it. I want to go down to NXT. I want to coach these guys, and I want to show them what they're doing, what is right, what's wrong." And I mean, he's right for that role. They on Meeting the Dead Man, or Meeting Undertaker, the new documentary on the network. Like Baron Corbin was saying how when he first met Taker, he came back through the curtain, and Undertaker just turned to him and went, "What the hell was that?" and taught him a new arsehole, because he was like, "Big guys don't do this. Big guys don't do this. Why are you doing this? Why are you selling this? Why are you selling that?" And he was like, "Huh, he's right." And he's like, he said he doesn't sugarcoat it, and he tells you exactly as it is. You think, yeah, that's probably what a lot of these guys need.
It's going to be quite fun though with NXT right now, because all your coaches are Attitude Era people now.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Right? It's like it's all Attitude Era guys bringing them up, which is probably good.
To a certain country, we'll all go back out in the ring and have a and do a terrible match.
yeah. We had Cody Rhodes come out and cut a promo.
Well, he tried to cut a promo.
And then he was interrupted.
I love what happened afterwards, because I thought it was fucking great.
Yeah. He tried to cut a promo, and then, well, I can't think of her name. Jade Cargill, I think, came out and interrupted him, and insinuated that Shaq was coming, which was just,
I don't know why.
Utterly bizarre.
I got a basketball player coming.
I don't know. And what makes it funnier is Big Show has been trying to push for the match with Shaq at WrestleMania for like 5-6 years now.
So
very bizarre.
Yeah, I love that all this in the end was fucking was his wife. Yes. Brandy was fucking great.
Brandy was good.
So much attitude.
Yeah, she's very good. The a lot of promo here, right? There's actually like a huge amount, and because then we went into like Jon Moxley talking about Kenny. We now know that Kenny and Jon Moxley is going to take place December 2nd, I believe, is the date.
Up there, so yes.
Yeah, December 2nd. So December 2nd for the AEW World Championship. So the speculation is which probably is correct, is that is because we have the Tokyo Dome shows, the New Japan Tokyo Dome shows, first week of January, as always, and Jon Moxley hasn't defended his title in quite some time.
Why about it?
In literally, about a year, because of the pandemic, and they didn't strip him.
But by the time he goes to defend it, it'll be probably about a year, yeah.
I think it would have been, yeah. I can't remember if...
Didn't he win it back again in the last Tokyo Dome?
Yeah, I can't remember if he won it at the Tokyo Dome or like Dominion or something afterwards, but it was very close.
I'm pretty sure it was Tokyo. I swear it was Tokyo Dome because he got himself his arm played up, didn't he? So he took it. So he lost it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember if he then defended it sort of at the next shows or not, but either way, it was like between January and February was the last time he would have defended the title. So they obviously want him over there, but he's going to need to quarantine both sides of his trip. So a simple trip to Japan turns into a 5-week trip to Japan because of the quarantine, or maybe 6-week trip to Japan. So he's I'm assuming, going to lose the title to Kenny on December 2nd, head on over to Japan and defend his title, and then come back and maybe we get a rematch at Revolution. Maybe they do Kenny and Hangman. Who knows?
Well, I don't know, because the idea is you'd probably want Hangman to be the one to beat Kenny, but you want Kenny to have the belt for a good fucking 5-6 months.
Yeah, but also, would it not be the best summing up of how they've handled Kenny Omega in AEW if he finally wins the title and he loses it within like 2 months? They just move on from him straight away. It would like sum up basically how they've handled him for most of his run.
Yeah, but part of it for Kenny anyway was part of Kenny's decision because he didn't want to just come straight out. So,
oh yeah, no, I agree. And it's like basically they all made the decision that they'll push Cody at the beginning, and not the Bucks and not Kenny, and all it did is sort of made Kenny look a bit like nothingness. But yeah, I'm going to assume he's picking it up on December 2nd. We had the bunkhouse match, which I actually very much enjoyed.
That was a really good match, actually.
Very much. It was a lot more violent than what I thought it was going to be.
There was plenty of blood in it.
Yeah. Yes. God, yes. I did like it.
He cut himself a bit too much with his razor blade, but
a little bit. I liked it. And we had Chris Jericho welcoming MJF into the inner circle, and there was a bit in here which it shouldn't have been my highlight of the night, but it definitely was my highlight of the night when they let those streamers and balloons go, and they just went gone. They were just completely gone.
Is it JR?
It was JR. JR was just like, another well-planned stunt gone awry. They're now going around downtown Jacksonville. Oh, that made me laugh so much. It was so stupid. There was a storm in Jacksonville this week. Literally, it was like they were in the midst of a storm throughout that entire show. So they let out bloody balloons in an open-air stadium in the middle of a storm. That is just genius. I couldn't stop laughing. It was JR, how dry he was. And there they go. Oh, brilliant.
There was another good match, which these two deserve more time on TV, which is Sean Spears, Scorpion Sky.
Very good. Very good.
What's fucking irritate me, though, each week is I think they're getting it wrong who's got the most wins and who's also had the most matches this year. Because they keep putting it as like Kenny's in the top line, in the top three, so you like Cody, Kenny, and I think Scorpion Sky's near it. But it's actually the person who's had the most matches and the most wins is Jungle Boy.
Really?
Yes. Because when I looked at this last week, and he was on 30-something matches, which was a couple more matches than other people, and then he was like 1 or 2 wins ahead of like Cody, who I think was in second place at the time, with 24 wins, and he just won on Dark End, so he's on 25.
Was that singles match? All singles matches?
No, there's a mix between the both.
Yeah, so I really don't know how they do it because they've never really explained it at all, and their rankings never make any sense.
I don't care.
As we've complained about many times.
I'm stating that this person's had more matches than everybody else because I went through tags and things originally, and then I just looked at everyone's overalls for 2020 because they've got the 2020 then overall. So I looked at 2020's overalls and stuff. I'm sorry, I don't care whether it's in a tag team or whether it's a single match or triple threat, Quakeroo, fucking 6-man. I don't give a flying fuck. Jungle Boy has got the most wins and the most and done the most matches than anybody else.
Yeah, I'm sure that they divide it up into like tag matches, 6-mans, singles.
Shit, they just fucking make it up as they go fucking on because they've had a clue and don't understand
Also-
how this shit works.
Also quite likely as well. But we I'll say this: we had another Penta and Ray match, good match, really good match. But I just don't get why they're not building this shit. Really, like they built it and they stopped, and they build it and they stop.
I don't get why they kept trying to rip each other's masks off.
No, neither do I. It's just so
I like
stupid.
the storytelling you were getting from thingy on commentator. I've completely forgot his name.
I can't remember who was on commentary. Eddie Kingston, yeah.
That was the man. Because he was trying to say, and then as he shows at the end where he then kicks Phoenix out of the ring to sell it.
Yeah.
So,
but then obviously I think the big thing on AEW this week was Pac making his return at the end and being a very angry bastard.
he's always angry.
Yeah, being a very, very angry bastard.
He's no different than what he was before he left.
No. And he's making his in-ring return next week. He'll be wrestling against Blade, I believe.
His former teammate, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think AEW is a bit better. Again, they're just not. This is the thing, right? Like they listen to Tony Khan listens to the damn dirt sheets too much. That's all he does. He listens to the dirt sheets so much that when the second they start being story heavy instead of match heavy, the dirt sheets, Dave Meltzer shits on it. It should be match. We just want really good wrestling matches. We don't need story. And Tony Khan listens to it.
Now what we got New Japan for?
Yeah, exactly. And but that's the thing. And Tony Khan listens to that, and we know he listens to that because he said it in the press conference when he was like, "Well, he literally said to, I think it was Wade Keller that asked the question about after Full Gear. Wade Keller asked the question about being story driven and match driven, and Tony Khan sat there and said, "Well, look, you guys are the experts here, so I should maybe sometimes listen to you more." What?
No.
What?
You don't listen to Dave Meltzer because half the time he gets it wrong. I say half.
Yeah, that's being generous. But it's like, I just don't get it. On what planet is Steven Spielberg sitting there and going, maybe I'll listen to Empire Magazine before I make my next film?
Half the time, if you look at the fourth Indiana Jones, once again, he shouldn't have gave in to Spielberg.
Yeah.
He's compromised and say, we won't do aliens, but we'll do this instead. No, that's crap.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? It's just so weird to me that this shit happens. But there we are. It's a shame because it's like I think they may have the best talent roster of maybe any single show right now, and yet nothing gets that. Especially their women's division, like that's just a complete shit show from start to from top to bottom. I don't care what anyone says; it's a complete shit show. When the NWA Women's Championship is getting more time on their TV than their actual Women's Championship, it's just a shit show. But anyway, SmackDown. I enjoyed SmackDown. I enjoyed Roman and Jay again this week. I didn't. Last week was a bit hit and miss. I enjoyed it this week.
It was an interesting one this week with them, as I say, it was reopened up with Drew and stuff, and this show seemed to be more built around let's more hype up the fact that on Raw we've got WWE title match. All right, but I'm on SmackDown, so why do I care about what you got? What's going on Raw right
now? Yeah. They literally just spend the show hyping up the other show, which is just crazy. I like that. Do you know what the thing is? It's like I'm sure Michael Cole said it around about 90,000 times. The one night of the year where Raw and SmackDown come together. Motherfucker, we see it every week. Like we have, brand to brand invitational. We have cross brand stuff like all the time now. I don't understand why they're still trying to push that.
Or a Rumble where people come together too in a one match.
Very good point. Yes, yeah.
WrestleMania, you only have at least one match where Raw and SmackDown wrestlers wrestling one another. So this isn't working out very well.
just don't get it. Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews squashed, basically, weren't it? You know, Apollo Crews getting tied up.
But I think Apollo ruined that as well. Because as soon as the match ended, he just took his foot right out straight away.
I noticed that. It was like,
just do that in the first place and get back in the match.
It was like 10. Brilliant. Well done, Apollo. Sasha Banks. This has been a big week for Sasha, or big few weeks for Sasha. She made her Mandalorian debut on Disney Plus.
I'm waiting for some more episodes coming out for us. I can just watch it all.
She made her Mandalorian debut on Disney Plus. Very good debut on that. You know, she's WWE champion and managed to defend her WWE women's championship for the first time ever. She's never been able to defend the title before, so WWE title before. So that was her first ever title. You are?
Yeah, and once again, Bailey was robbed.
Yeah, Bailey was robbed. And this was good. I mean, I'm not.
Now they're going to try and do some storyline with Carmella, who looks like a cheap ass hooker.
Yeah, I don't really get the Carmella thing. I just don't get it. But
I don't get why she's dressing like a cheap ass fucking hooker.
No. I don't get. Do you remember? I think they did this with Eva Marie, right? They done that exact same like backstage package with Eva Marie. They've done it with Mandy Rose. Vince loves that thing with.
He loves his cheap hookers.
He loves blonde hair, tight red leather. You know, he loves all that shit. Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins, Dominic.
I'd love to come to an end. Yeah, Seth and Rey Mysterio is a rivalry.
Yes. Yeah. This I really liked all this. I think it's funny seeing Buddy Murphy being like brought into the family there at the end. I thought that was funny. Look, can we just end this please soon?
Well, that was supposed to the end final thing. It's now Buddy and Seth.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, you know, Ray and all that's still going to be involved. So, Survivor Series.
I don't know if Ray cares that much about Buddy.
Yeah, well, I'm going to assume that like his daughter's going to be in his corner. You know,
she's been in there the whole time, and Rey Mysterio didn't like that at that point, so that's going to make no difference.
Yeah. I mean, so when we get past Survivor Series or get past this match, I just want to move on, and I don't want to see anything to do with Seth and the Mysterios again. After that, just let's leave it now. I think we're past that.
It's getting soon for him to have to disappear soon, right, for a little bit.
Yeah. Becky's got to be ready to drop at like any moment.
So,
we have the debut of Chelsea Green in the Survivor Series qualifier. Yeah, and she got injured straight away.
The field where she's got to have surgery on her wrist. She's only just gone back from an injury.
Yeah, so that wasn't good. Yeah, so she got injured straight away. And Liv Morgan qualified.
Yes.
But yeah, that was very odd. And then we had to close the match, Drew McIntyre and Jay, which was a good match.
I'm trying to get fed up with Drew. Seeing this been irritating me for the last few months a little, is they're building him to be so fucking dominant way too much.
They're doing.
Brock Lesnar was to be dominant, but he's still spent half the time in a match getting hurt.
They're doing exactly what they. Everyone always used to moan about, you know, Superman John Cena, Superman Roman Reigns, and they managed to turn the crowd against both of them, and they're doing it again. And it's like, but people like Drew. Why are you doing this? Just let him do what he was doing. I agree.
I'd like to see him get a bit more bad, a bit more, not in every. It's like he's totally killing any cred that the Money in the Bank Miz has got and John Moxley, because they just get ragdolled around. You're like, what the fuck? These two fucking main eventers and
also it's like we've just spent weeks and weeks and weeks telling a gorgeous story with Jey Uso, a really gorgeous story with him, where he stood toe to toe with Roman in Hell in a Cell for quite some time, just for him to be kind of not squashed, but you know what I mean, like made to not look like a threat in front of Drew. Well, we just spent months building him up to actually be someone. So yeah, I didn't.
Let's be honest. You put Daniel Bryan out of the picture at the moment, ain't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they had him squash Bryan. Like that's crazy. I don't get it. But there we are. I mean, Your prediction for this Monday Night Raw, I think it's probably going to come true as well. That Drew,
Reigns is gonna show up and cost Drew in a match.
yeah, exactly. And because I don't know how they're going to get to it, but they're obviously going to get to Randy versus Roman at some point this Monday Night Raw with Roman turning up.
Well, yeah, otherwise it's pointless fucking Randy winning the belt in itself, because the idea was he's supposed to go and lose the match at Survivor Series.
Yeah, just so they can get back to Drew again. But there we are. This was definitely an improvement on last week. I don't know when is Survivor Series? It's not for another couple of weeks yet, is it?
It's next Sunday.
Is it next Sunday?
Yes. And you know how I know that? Because I'm not at work the following week.
So the 16th, the 22nd is the wow. So this is go home week for Survivor Series.
That like you've still got like 2 more people to get for both teammates.
I thought it was going to be I don't know why I thought it was the 29th.
I'm positive that.
No, you're probably right. I haven't really been keeping track.
I think because I'm off on the Monday the 23rd, so.
Yeah, no, I haven't been keeping track, so I just kind of I assume you're right. Wow. Okay, that's coming. Yeah, Sunday the 22nd. Yeah, that's.
In SmackDown, Raw's got full teams right now, and SmackDown still needs 2 members for both teams. I'm like that. What?
Yeah, this really doesn't feel like go home week. It should not. Doesn't seem like they've done any. Yeah. Okay, this makes much more sense with your criticism, because I was assuming there was. I think we've got 2 more weeks for them to build their stories and teams. No, we don't. Fair enough.
2nd of November.
Yep. There we go. So we'll be back next week with Survivor Series predictions, if they actually tell us what teams are going to be and who's going to be facing who. And
I don't really care about Survivor Series for us to really do predictions about.
Yeah, but it's still one of the big shows of the year, so we got to get in on that. So, I mean, it's one of their big 4. It's the big 4: SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Rumble, Survivor Series.
Oh, can't wait for the biggest one of the year, WrestleMania, for how they built this one.
Yeah, so true. But anyway, that's it for this week in wrestling. Please head on over and follow us on Twitter at SEW_podcast. You can see it scrolling along your screen down at the bottom. Please like and subscribe to us here on this channel, and we will see you next week for another video. We are out.